Hello, Internet! Welcome to another fun-filled episode of the Comic Watchers Show, our 171st to be precise. I am Matt, this is Mike. We are, of course, the Comic Watchers, and this is our show. So, Mike, how have you been this week, buddy?
Hot, sweaty, uncomfortable.
Sweaty, uncomfortable.
It's terrible.
Well, I mean, it's the middle of summer. We do expect that.
Well, I mean, not like this hot. You know, not over here. Man. A little bit of breeze would be nice. There's no breeze. There's nothing.
No.
It's horrible. You know, it's not good. It's not good. So how's things out there in middle America, middle of USA?
Well, it's an interesting turn of events this week. We've got 2.5 days of non-triple digit weather. And then it goes back to being triple-digit weather for a good 5 or 6 days at least after that. So welcome to the ass end of Satan's taint in the middle of Oklahoma. So.
Yeah.
It's been a great week for comics news. We had, of course, San Diego ComiCon was last week. I think it goes without saying that Marvel, yet again, kind of stole the show.
Yeah. Oh, easily. I mean, what was it? Day 3 with like all the big announcements, all the D plus announcements.
Yeah, from all age.
I mean, it's not even fair at this point.
It's really not, right? Like DC is all like, yeah, Shazam, Black Adam. And then here's Marvel's like, fuck you. We have the next 20 years planned out.
Kevin Feige woke up, like day 3 going, all right, I guess I'll walk in. I'll see what's going on. Maybe announce a few things, And then us being, fanboys, all we're going to do is just,
we lap it up. We love it.
Me, my Lord, but yeah, I mean, just those announcements alone, I mean, it's not all Marvel. I mean, DC, I mean, you had a little more of the Black Adam stuff, but with the Marvel.
Okay, so yeah, let's give DC, who was not the winner for big announcements this year.
The Turtles had a bigger announcement than DC,
right?
New Rose.
Hey, those are some cool action figures.
Mm-hmm. So,
but okay, so we did get some new footage for Black Adam. That was fine. It was cool. I'm ready for this movie to be out. It looks good.
It does. It looks surprisingly good. I slept on.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was saying I slept on Shazam and wait for it to come to theaters. Which I was like, good. Okay, yeah, it was great. Yeah, Shazam's awesome. I regretted it, and of course, saw the Mighty Batman. So I'm ready to kind of go back to seeing DC movies. I'm kind of excited, because
honestly, I'm gonna put this out there because I think this is the biggest news to come out of DC. This entire San Diego ComiCon this year was no less than Jim Lee himself declaring that the Snyderverse is dead.
But that's
sorry.
I mean, it's the fans.
You lost. That's all there is to it.
Yeah,
and that's fine, because if these goobers can figure out how to salvage not even the tone, but just the craftsmanship that came out of the first Shazam movie, looks like it's going to be in the sequel, looks like it's going to be in the Black Adam movie, and reconfigure what the hell they're doing. Because Warner Brothers, like, one of the biggest problems at Warner Brothers is it's all over the place, right? Mm-hmm. With there's just no cohesive vision or unity in their films. Like right now, it's very telling that the DCEU right now is Peacemaker and Shazam and Black Adam. That says a lot.
Yeah. It's kind of like advertising for a buffet. and you walk in and you only got like 3 kinds of like hamburgers. You know, this one has salt and pepper, but this one has seasons. This one has garlic on it.
Yeah,
you know, but I want DC, and I want
this to be good DC. And,
I want
when Black Adam's got the beginnings of the Justice Society, which outside the Justice Society, one of my favorite DC things ever, if not my second favorite team after the X-Men. Hey, and I want to see DC figure out how to crack the code that Marvel did.
Well, the thing is,
not just a cohesive universe of movies, but really channeling the feel of their brand. And I hate to put it in those terms; it just feels dirty. But you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. If you look at DC has done on their animated side with their animated movies.
Yeah, good example.
There's way more passion and inspiration that goes into those movies than what goes into theaters and the big Hollywood production.
I agree.
By a landslide. It's like January to August difference. You know, I mean, there's a huge divide. And like you said, when you crack that code, you break that recipe, you know, whatever you got to do the thing is, you don't even have to follow the Marvel phase plan. Just find the people that want to put the same amount of passion as they do in your animated stuff as you do in the big stuff. The Justice League thing, the whole thing with Justice League completely crumbled whatever foundation DC was trying to do, because it divided everybody. You had one faction that went like fascist Justice League and was like, there's only one copy ever, said Igor, you know? And it's like, it would be different if one of those versions were good, but both versions were kind of ass, you know?
In very different ways. But yeah.
You know, do you want clear cut ass, or do you want like dark, dungy Vim ass?
Just ass or unwashed ass.
Exactly, pretty much right.
I think that's actually the best excuse me. I think that's the best summary of those movies to date. And we've had a lot of professional prognosticators talk about it. We have talked about the Snyder Cut debacle.
Yeah.
And if we just, you know, but DC had some cool stuff come out. You know, they their disadvantage, of course, versus Marvel really is just the lack of vision behind the scene and cohesiveness. Like, DC needs a Kevin Feige.
Yeah, they need some type of ringleader to kind of.
They thought they had it with Zack Snyder.
Oh,
and that went really bad. And now we've got this damn Flash movie supposedly coming out next year with the poster child for collapsed mental health / misogyny, Ezra Miller, who does not know how to run and has the most ass ugly Flash suit I've ever seen. And the problem with that movie, what they keep teasing so far is like, ooh, you're gonna see the Michael Keaton Batman, and ooh, you're gonna see the Wonder Twins, or, you know, whatever the hell. You're all your fan favorites, and of course, I love the Flash so damn much. I love the Flash. I hate this idea of the Flash, this version of the Flash, where essentially the Flash it's not a movie about the Flash so much as it's about introducing their multiverse.
Yeah.
Right. And that movie is going to have so many problems. Like, they would honestly, like, I know in the wake of the more recent Ezra Miller stuff, that, you know, DC is so like, I guess we're going to still put this movie out because they've sunk so much money into it, making it so far.
You got to get you.
I don't think they're going to be able to buy back the nasty PR that's going to come from that movie. And they need Wolverine, according to Chad. But
yeah, and to kind of slightly correct where you said that Ezra Miller can't run, not true. He's currently running now.
Oh, but good one. Very good one. Very good one. And serious aside, like, he's a piece of shit. And he deserves whatever he gets. But he's also very clearly in the midst of a mental health breakdown. Or they are I've totally forgot their pronouns. Totally in the midst of a pretty serious psychological breakdown. And that sucks. But sure. Ezra, go get help. Ezra's enablers, stop enabling and get him help. Is what it is. But we'll move on. We'll move on because this is about San Diego ComiCon. Yes. This was, and it's another cool thing worth noting, Mike, that this was the first in-person ComiCon since 2019. The cosplayers were out in full force. There's so much. There were so many good pictures of like creators and that hadn't seen each other in several years hugging. And just like the general vibe of Comic-Con this year was so happy and joyous.
Oh yeah, and just even seeing like creator pictures, like you said, just on their social media accounts and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Whether masked or not masked or whatever. Pictures. I may not. You can't hear a picture, but you damn sure can feel it. And and there was so much just admiration and love and soul and everything we're posting. And even with the fans, when you saw like the fans and with the cosplays and people were taking pictures with cosplayers and just people waiting in lines, and they were just happy just to be waiting in line, but they were waiting in line at Comic-Cons. I just think it was so dope. It was such a great feeling. Just being able to kind of live through, everyone's pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah,
just that
absolutely. And of course it did kick off on a little bit of a sad note because the Thursday that it started, we got news that the great writer Alan Grant passed away. Yes. Tremendously sad news, and all our hearts go out to his friends and family and loved ones. He was a hell of a writer. Like, Mike, you and I are exactly the right age to understand how cool Alan Grant was. Like, that era of fan that he was a part of with Doug Nett and Chuck Dixon, like starting in about the post-crisis, obviously starting in the late 80s and really running through the entire 90s. Just a legendary era with so much awesome stuff.
We grew up on his stuff. I mean, he brought us in.
Like, Alan Grant is one of those writers that for our generation of readers kind of defined Batman for us. And especially his stuff with Norm Brayvogel.
Ooh, yeah.
Like those two together. And I mean, rest in power Norm as well. But that was sad. The DC panel that day with Tom Taylor and Jim Lee and all the DC Vanguard, they raised a glass and had a really kind moment for in memory of Mr. Grant. And his contributions weren't just limited to DC, of course. He was 2000 AD alum on the other side of the pond, and just had so many great contributions to the world of comics. So Alan Grant, not Dr. Alan Grant from the world of Jurassic Park, but the real world Alan Grant. Our hats are off to you.
The actual Alan Grant.
Right, not Sam Neill.
Chad.
I don't know, Mike. I don't know did you see the third Jurassic World? Because I heard it was quite a train wreck.
I haven't seen it yet. We want to though. I haven't seen it yet.
I mean, I want to just because I've seen the other 5, and unfortunately, I saw the 5th one. But
hold on there, Sailor. Wait, let's not get crazy.
Okay, well, I'm going to keep us on track, but the 5th one was bad. It's bad. But anyway. So back to San Diego, man. The vibe was positive. The state wasn't burning down this time. But I mean, Marvel. Holy shit. Whenever Marvel decides that they want to blow fans' minds and just utterly own the internet for the next few days, they know how to do it. Like, these sons of bitches, I'm a little jealous of their showmanship, in all honesty. Like, if I could harness that power for Comic Watch, Mike, we'd be unstoppable and owning the internet in our own way. But
right.
I'm not.
We haven't seen showmanship since Steve Jobs was around. You know,
not
like
of this caliber. Because, listen, not only did we get to see trailers for Wakanda Forever, oh boy, that's gonna be emotional. Get your hankies ready, folks. That's gonna be a hard movie to watch. Yeah. Yes, Chad, we're getting to the Eisners. We got the new She-Hulk trailer, which featured a certain man without fear there at the very end. A certain man without fear, I might add, who is getting a new lease on life in 2024 with Daredevil Born Again, 18 episodes.
Hold on. Then Daredevil, hold on. That is coming out spring of 24.
Spring of 24, 18 eps. Oh my god. And if they're actually going to adapt Born Again, I will plot, because it's just one of my favorite things ever in the world of comics.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got an old trade. It's like weirdly, it's as wide as like a Silver Age comic of it. And yeah. Born Again, comics don't get much better than Daredevil Born Again. If they're going to adapt that for the small screen, holy shit. It's going to be frightening. So, we had that. We had Phase 5, Phase 6, Phase 7. Holy crap, dude.
Yeah, not to mention, Blade, Loki Season 2, Secret Invasion.
Yeah, and the folks that were actually there in Hall H got to see the trailers for Secret Invasion and excuse me, Guardians 3.
Guardians 3 is out in May next year.
Yeah.
Agatha, Winter 23.
Like,
what? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
It says so much.
Yeah. But the King Dynasty and the Fantastic Four stuff.
Oh yeah. That's the big thing. It's 2025. We got the Kang Dynasty and the Secret Wars. All of which is going to be wrapped together in a nice, neat little multiverse saga package. And I just love Marvel so much for that, because it shows that they know what the hell they're doing.
Yep.
And they have a plan. And they're sticking to that plan. They're making it happen. Like, do you remember, Michael? In the summer of 2013, after Avengers made astronomical amounts of money, the brain trust at Warner Brothers was like, we've got an ambitious slate of movies. It's going to take us all the way through 2020, and it's going to be Superman and Cyborg and a Wonder Woman and an Aquaman. And no, it's really not, because you dumbasses are putting the cart before the horse and not taking the time to build your universe the proper way that Marvel did, which is really the origin story of their problems. But the fact that Marvel can do this sort of thing and have the fans' faith that they're going to pull it off, right? Like, Marvel could have, Feige could have walked up there, Mike, and been like, oh, by the way, here's what we got planned for Phase 5. And everyone would have been like, yeah!
Right.
And he could have been like, oh, and also, hey, here's Phase 6. Yeah! And he tripled down. He didn't just double down, Mike. He quadrupled down. And he's like, oh, and we know how we're going to start phase 7. And it's with the Fantastic Four, which that's cojones.
Yeah.
And it kicked off a lot of unfounded internet rumors about them not being able to commit to putting the X-Men on screen until 2025 or later because of the contracts at Fox or something. But none of these rumors are founded.
And the thing is, and that's what I love about Marvel, and when they and their formula and just how they do everything, like they really don't succumb to like internet rumors. They just largely ignore them, you know, and they just let it fly. And which to me, I think is both ballsy, but it's also smart because it, once again, how you said that they have our trust, right? He could have went up and went, we're gonna produce only 2 things next year. See y'all in a couple. And then we would have been like, but at least we're getting 2 more Marvel things, and it's gonna be great. Da, 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 woo. And we would have been satisfied because we know that it may not be 100%, but 9 out of 10 times it's going to be in the high 80s, mid 90s.
Yeah.
So why not? And like you said, to go back to what DC attempted to do with Warner Brothers, or what Warner Brothers did, you didn't build it. You don't have anything, you know? And it's just like with
words.
Yeah. And now that we have all this stuff laid out, and they're like, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna know how we're gonna wrap things up. We know how we're gonna start things off. And it's good. I mean, and there's no way, like, you know, do we get more? Are we going to get a new Surfer? Are we going to get Galactus, Ego, stuff, you know, stuff like that? That can you build on?
I think you're onto something there because, you know, if we're doing, okay, so phase 1 was about the Infinity Gems. Phase 2 is about the multiverse. I mean, kind of just thinking in terms of grand scale for Marvel, going big and cosmic kind of makes the most sense, especially with the advent of the FF.
I mean, you almost got to,
you know, if you're gonna is the next Galactus for, you know, phases 7 through 9 or whatever the hell.
Right.
You know, something, it's got to be big. We got Kang this time, which hell yeah.
You know, possibly the Watcher. Are we gonna get like we gonna get a Watcher appearance? You know.
Yeah, a real appearance, not just a Stan Lee cameo mid-credits appearance.
No, an actual.
That was great. That was really great. That was one of my favorite Stan Lee cameos. Oh, fellas, don't leave me here. But yeah, it's. I mean, God, and you know, we're sitting here talking about San Diego ComiCon, and all we're talking about movies. But it was like not the biggest year ever for comic book announcements, and I think that speaks really largely to the fact that the nature of Comic-Con has changed so drastically in the last 22 years. Because you know what was Marvel's big announcement for comics this year? Oh, Jason Aaron's run is going to come to an end. Okay,
the Dark Web.
Yeah. Well, no, hadn't that been? I think that was at least hinted at.
Well, it was hinted. Well, the full announcement came.
Yeah, you're right.
Like teasers, but yeah.
And then DC's big comic side announcement was like, oh, it's actually Dark Crisis on Infinity Earths. Who cares? Come on, guys. Try to blow my mind. But that just tells you where the industry is headed, is the comics themselves are part of this larger ecosphere of IP and IP cultivation.
Well, yes and no. And that may be for a different show, but I think you still have, you know, I think like even with like stuff with like, you know, like the Galaxy Cons and stuff like that, you know, I think there's still more of a comic, there's still media, you know, guests there and stuff like that. But
there are
more the regional type things, I think you see, and especially with the local ones, or the smaller, regional, whatever. But but I think San Diego is definitely more entertainment as a whole rather than just a bunch of dudes in sweatpants and braces, standing in line for Todd McFarlane's autograph.
Yeah, they're not getting that. Oh, hey, Spawn Batman.
Right? Again?
With McFarlane and Capullo. Okay.
Indeed.
That was pretty cool. Like, I don't think anybody saw that coming.
No, I
gotta tell you, like, my spider sense is tingling a little bit just because for Capullo, his art is quantum leaps ahead of where it was when he was the Spawn artist. And that's not the knock his work in the 90s on the book at all. It was great. No. I liked it. But like that guy is like kindergarten compared to this dude.
He's gonna kill. He's gonna.
That comic is gonna be a hell of a lot of fun.
See what the Brad Moore, Doctor Strange, series is gonna look dope.
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's
not in the Tradmore style, or
I'm not into Tradmore style personally, but I understand why people are. I'm not knocking him, but
sure.
Is Tradmore a big enough draw for that to really be a big announcement for Comic-Con? Probably not.
Oh, wow, you went there. Okay, maybe more of a niche.
I mean, I'm honestly putting it out there. Not trying to throw shade at the guy or anything, but
no. Are you saying now? Maybe if it wasn't Doctor Strange, you say if he was doing like a Carnage or something like that, where
not even that. I'm not talking about the character Doctor Strange. I'm sure, as a matter of fact,
no. What I'm trying to say,
trippy ass style lends itself very well to Doctor Strange.
Right. What I'm saying is the character drew the announcement rather than the artist drawing the announcement.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
No. I'm saying like the announcement in and of itself was for Tradmore.
Oh, okay.
Is Tradmore a big enough deal to merit a major announcement? Or could this have just been something that was in the November solicits or, whatever? And I'm not throwing shade at anybody because Tradmore, great talent, not quite my cup of tea. But you know what I mean? It just seems kind of small potatoes for the stage that it was on, right? So,
and then, even considering, especially with the Spawn Batman, there were bigger books announced. So, but plus, I think that Strange is only like 4 or 6 issues. It's not
only 4.
Yeah,
it's only tiny. 4, but okay, the other big news every year, of course, coming out of Comic-Con is the Eisner Awards. And I gotta say, they never get it right. They're never gonna make everyone happy, right? There was very little in here that I was like, wow, that was a snub. There's one that stands out to me, but I'm gonna get to that. But gotcha. I definitely want to say, like, the best writer category was freaking stacked.
Yeah, it was.
It was Ed Brubaker, Kelly Sue DeConnick, Philippe Melo, who I'm not familiar with, but Ballad of Sophie is supposed to be really good, and then Ram V. And I'll just tell you, like, Ram V came off of a crazy ass good year. Like Many Deaths of Layla Starr, The Swamp Thing, Carnage, Venom, shit. Like, dude is on fire. And his first issue of Detective Comics came out this weekend. I don't know if you read it, Mike, but whoo.
On the tab, not Detective yet.
This run. God. It's
yeah.
Yes. I'll put it this way. In the same month when Ram took over Detective and Chip Zdarsky took over regular Batman, both of which kind of a stacked writing talent, Ram V blew Chip out of the water.
Ooh, what?
And I love Chip Zdarsky.
Right. Who doesn't?
But right. But man, that Detective Comics, holy crap! Like, in all honesty, we could. I could probably spend an entire episode talking about it, but I'll wait till the arc is done. But getting back to best writer, James Tynion came in, and again, this dude had a crazy ass good year. House of Water, Something Is Killing the Children, Nice House on the Lake, The Joker, Batman. I mean, shit, dude. Plus
Wind.
I mean, plus he's got a Department of Truth. I respect. I can definitely be down with Tynion being the winner of that category. That's not huge to me. Like
no, I mean, I don't think go wrong with any of those any of those names.
Yeah. So best penciler / inker. I mean, again, you had like some crazy good talent. You had Bruno Redondo for Nightwing, and I'm gonna murder his name, but Esad Rabik on Eternals, who, despite drawing some extremely goofy faces, hell of an artist. P. Craig Russell never misses. Felipe Andrade, but Phil Jimenez for Wonder Woman Historia. Did you read that?
Not Historia, new.
Dude, again, like, I understand why this penciler / inker won, because it's one of the just most jaw-droppingly gorgeous comics you're ever going to see. Ever.
But I was actually I was hoping for Redondo. What he's done on Nightwing has been just absolutely
think insane. Any other year Redondo wins.
Yeah.
When we're done, go take a look in the drive, because we've got Wonder Woman Historia, the Amazons in there. Yeah. And just take a gander, because it's... Look, Phil Jimenez was already next level. This is beyond even that. I mean, it's shockingly good. You just can't beat it, man. But best colorist kind of surprised me, because Jordi Belair, who colors like everything and everybody loves, wasn't even nominated, which was a little surprising. And then Matt Wilson won, and I think Matt Wilson's fine. I would have personally rather have seen Jacob Phillips win for Destroy Our Monsters, but
Dodson for Adventure Man would have been good.
Yeah, I mean, Dodson. When aren't the Dodsons amazing? You know,
sure.
I gotta ask myself, are the Dodsons doing anything on Adventure Man that they haven't done before in terms of quality? Because it looks great, but it's also not new. But then again, you know, look at Matt Wilson. Okay, it's good. He's a good colorist.
Right.
Is really better than some of the, you know, I don't know. It seemed like there was a little bit more of a popularity contest thing happening there, but I could be wrong. Best ongoing series. This is the one that I actually took the most umbrage with, because you got a tie winner. Bitterroot and Something Is Killing the Children. They both tied, which I don't recall there being any ties in the past in a big category like this.
Kind of weak, though.
I could be wrong, but it just doesn't jump out at me.
Yeah.
But I have problems with Bitterroot. I know it's everybody's darling, but it just does not work for me. The metaphor is about as subtle as a hammer to the back of the head. And, like, I don't know, everything just feels like it's being very, very forced to make that metaphor work, and I don't give a shit about any of the characters in the end.
It's fair. It's fair.
And that sucks, because, you know, Mike, how much do you know about Bitterroot?
I'm not current. I started.
Okay. But you understand the simple premise of it.
Yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying. Yeah, and at times
like, I think it's on there because it's been touted as being such an important book, because it's talking about the Tulsa race massacre of 1920,
right.
And because it's shining a light on the ugly racist history in this country. And I appreciate that. You have no idea how much I appreciate that. But I mean, like, let's step back from that briefly and really look at the way the comic is executed, and it just doesn't work for me. I'm clearly in the minority because it's on everybody's lips, but honestly, go on.
I would say for me, I mean, you got, Immortal Hulk, you got Nightwing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, something is killing. I mean, it's a tough category, but I just don't know if it deserves a tie. It's like you said. I mean, Bitterroot is good, but once again, there's 3 books right off the bat that I think should have that sole possession. And me being a Nightwing, and of course, there's 100% bias on that one, but I just think the execution of Nightwing is right up top.
Yeah, basically flawless. I mean, same with Immortal Hulk, although that's tainted by the fact that Joe Bennett, outed himself as a raging anti-Semite. So that probably hurt it with voters. And then Department of Truth, like, of these books, Department of Truth would have been my pick for best continuing series.
And you can't argue with it either. You can't. I mean,
just so inventive and just dark and brilliant and gets under your skin, and it's tying all of this conspiracy theory and cryptids and just, man, crazy ass shit together in this one tinfoil hat wearing narrative. And there's nothing I don't love about that comic.
Absolutely.
Martin Simmons' art harkens back to old school 90s Vertigo in the best way possible. It's just,
I do get a Vertigo feel off that book. That's good. That's good.
Say again?
No, I was saying I do get a Vertigo feel off that
book.
Oh,
very much so.
That's a great comparison. I mean,
that's one of the first things I thought was, damn, this artist reminds me of Dave McKeon.
Oh.
Yeah. Martin Simmons is that good, in my opinion.
For sure.
But, and again, you got Something is Killing the Children by James Tynion and Department of Truth by James Tynion. Which one was better? I mean, they're both outstanding. Something is Killing the Children is really good, and damn, it is not afraid to go hard.
No,
not afraid to go hard. Like, you better check your stomach at the door with that series, because there's about to be a lot of dead kids in that book. Then you're just they die horribly, just horribly.
Well, I mean, the title gives it away. The title
is like, hey, there be some dead kids in here.
Yeah. The horror.
But again, it's one of those sacred cows, even in horror movies. It's like, kids don't get killed.
Yeah.
Not often.
Not often. Not often. What?
Well, no, really. I mean, think about it. Even in Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason kills again. That little kid makes it out at the end because he's a kid, and Jason, like, not even Jason wants to kill little kids.
I have standards, sir. I have standards.
You know what I'm talking about.
I'll kill her.
You know what I'm talking about. But best miniseries, I have a really hard time arguing against The Good Asian by Pornsak Pichashud and Alexander Tafinki.
Yeah,
you remember when we had them on the show, Mike?
Yeah, friends of the show.
And yeah, there'd only been 2 issues that came out of the series at that point, but I probably made an idiot of myself during that interview just because I couldn't stop drooling over how great this comic was. I mean,
it was great. It was good just to hear the tone of your excitement throughout that whole thing. Now, for me, I mean, I do adore it, but I mean, obviously, we dogs are Baby Bill.
Stray Dogs, yes. I think any other year, Stray Dogs would have won.
Possibly,
what a brilliant comic. And Tony Fleece, near and dear to my heart. And Trish Forstner, excuse me.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, Stray Dogs is really something special.
Yeah. And I just, it wasn't supposed to work. It just wasn't supposed to work. Oh, I like it.
I mean, best new series, okay, Human Target, another Tom King one. Tom King seems to know how to make stuff that attracts the Eisners and alienates fans. Because Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow was nominated for best miniseries too. And I mean, I think
I enjoyed Adventures of Tomorrow. Adventures of Tomorrow was good. I enjoyed it.
I need to read it. The trade came out this week. It's on my to-buy list.
Man, it's good.
And I'll be honest, like, I read that first issue of Human Target, and great setup.
Mm-hmm.
The Greg Smallwood art is the star of the show by a country mile. But like most everything that Tom King does these days, it's a limited series. I'm gonna wait till it's done and collected. It's really that simple.
For sure.
Like, and there's no reason not to, because when you know it's gonna be a mini series, just wait for the damn trade. That's me, because I don't have room in my collection for all these mini series that I could have bought in a trade to be cluttering it up.
For sure. You know? Yeah.
So that's why I'm waiting. That's why I'm waiting for the Nice House on the Lake. I got the first issue, checked it out on spec. It's Tinian. It's Martinez Bueno. It's a DC Black Label. Shit, not bad at all. But I'll wait for the trade, and that's a whole nother conversation. But or
when you have another conversation is when you have all flop and then you go out and buy trades. So now you have the floppies and the trade. So it can be a double-edged sword.
I don't want to not say that I've done that, but I also want to not say I haven't done that.
Mm-hmm.
Just throw a bunch of double negatives in there at you and see if you could figure out what I'm saying.
Use a couple.
No. But, we could probably do a whole nother episode just on the divisiveness of Tom King.
Yeah.
But when he's on, he's great.
He is.
Omega Men, jaw-droppingly good.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Miracle?
Mr. Miracle, thank you. I was trying to spit that out. Mr. Miracle, Vision.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And as divisive as it was, I really liked Rorschach.
Okay.
Should not have worked, but it's really twisty and crazy, and people, it gets caught under the whole "thou shalt not touch Watchmen" umbrella. But it's good. You should read Rorschach if you haven't.
It's good, and I think real quick, his Batman run up until the Nightmare stuff wasn't all that bad. I think the tail end of it is what people remember, and I think that's
that and the fake out wedding. But I don't blame him for that. I blame DC for that,
right?
Because he knew where he was going with that story. We're going to raise Batman up just to bring him down, right? And then DC's marketing got a hold of a wedding, and they're like, "Ooh, let's make a big hullabaloo out of this. Let's print a bunch of tie-in one-shots. Let's really soak them." And then they won't get married. And that's just like a big middle finger to fans. And I understand completely why people were bitter and swore off the book after that. I gutted it out. I haven't read the Batman Catwoman miniseries that just concluded.
I'm gonna get the trade.
Miniseries, I'll get there. I mean, dude, Clay Mann on art. I can't say no to that.
No, Clay
Yeah,
Clay,
that dude's a beast,
man.
So yeah. So okay, Mike. What categories stand out for you in the Eisner winners this year?
Not you. You would ask that.
I would.
You would. I don't know. I didn't really study these too much. I didn't know we were going to be testing.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say what stands out to.
I do think it's worth noting that in the Best Humor publication, Not All Robots from AWA by Mark Russell and Mike Deodato was the winner. Because Mark Russell had a really, really busy year. And Not All Robots, for whatever reason, was just the book that he put out that nobody was talking about. And then it just comes in and wins this category. And it's so great. It's such a good satire of toxic masculinity, not all men, etc.
Right.
And it like the best Mark Russell, it'll make you laugh, it'll make you think, and it'll break your heart all at the same time. And not all, there's a sequel in the works at some point. But yeah, the Not All Robots really, really deserved the win in that category.
Yeah, I will say, and it reminded me on here that IDW in their EC stuff and their EC reprints won the Eisner for what category was? Oh, I forgot the name. Archival for best archival over 20 years.
Oh, really?
IDW, yeah. Because they were starting to reprint a lot more of the EC stuff. So I like the science fiction, the horror.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was pretty dope.
Okay. Yeah, I overlooked that completely. Mm-hmm. And then, we weren't nominated for best comics related periodical or journalism, maybe someday, but Women Write About Comics, or WYD, won again. Mm-hmm. I believe I heard that this was like their third time to win this category. And I just gotta say, that site and the ladies that are contributing to it are just really doing a bang up job. And I got to give it up to them because it's so important that minority voices, of course, are represented, but female voices, man, like there's just not enough of them on any side of the coin in comics, and we've got to stop that. Yeah. We've got to get more voices in the room. And it gets so frustrating to me when all of these neckbeards, no offense to your mighty beard, it's not a neck beard. It's just
I was going to say, wait a second. I mean, it's like half a face.
Yours is not a neck beard. It's mighty and graceful. Are taking up all the oxygen in the room by bitching and moaning about, all the diversity, blah, 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 blah. And you know what? I'm just like, guys, we've had decades upon decades of white person-centric comics. I've read them. Let's hear something new. And that's why getting those whack voices in there, Ram V, for all of my poo-pooing of Bitterroot, I mean, the whole team on that, Chuck Brown, David Walker, Sanford Green, I mean, anybody that can come in and bring an outside perspective that we just don't see historically, we've got to treasure that. We've got to build them up and cultivate more talent like that, because there's so many stories that are just waiting to be heard, and we're not listening for them because these dumb fucks are out there talking about, oh, I wish it was still 1993, and ranting and raving on Twitter and troll, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating. It is. Well, it is.
No, totally
good. Yeah.
Next week on the Comic Show, neckbeards and what they're getting others by password anymore.
Also, next week, hopefully Matt will have a voice because I'm losing mine fast. I do want to give a couple more super awesome shout outs. One, Barry Windsor Smith, industry legend, killed it after a 17-year retirement from the day-to-day grind with his Fantagraphics graphic novel Monsters. And he also won the best lettering category, which was weird. I mean, I'm sure it's fine, but can we not recognize Hassan Ultimain El How? Because that dude is doing work on the lettering side. He's putting in work. And it's not like letterers get a lot of recognition like he does.
Yeah.
But
Matt, speaking of him, got some Kickstarter action.
Does he? Okay.
Yeah. Down with Rick Dewick and I forgot their name. Comics Tribe.
Okay.
So, pretty good.
Very cool. And then also, of course, every year they do the I'm forgetting the name of it exactly, but oh goodness, I'm totally blanking on the name. Like hold on, I got this. Larry Hama and Kevin Eastman, Howard Chaykin. There we go.
The Hall of Fame
Eisner Hall of Fame. God, what a terrible brain fart. But yeah, Larry Hama, David Mazzucchelli, Grant Morrison, Howard Chaykin, Moto Hagio, who I'm unfortunately not familiar with, and Kevin Eastman all got in there. And I mean, geez, what are some of these names? It's like, wait, are you kidding me? They weren't already in there?
Yeah. Like I was like Hama and Chapman and Eastman, in there already.
It's also really weird, like Kevin Eastman, but not Peter Laird. That's a bit of a puzzler.
Well, yes and no. I mean, once Peter sold his share, he just kind of stopped. He didn't really create anything. I mean, with Kevin, at least Kevin kept when they want him to, when they brought him back, for the comics and stuff like that, Peter just didn't want to. And now I'm not saying he doesn't deserve. He absolutely, does deserve, because without Laird and Eastman, they created a genre. They created a culture, But yeah, he just got quiet, and I think just with what Eastman has done over the decades with still doing Turtle comics in some form or fashion. But definitely Peter Laird, I think absolutely should have a seat.
Yeah, it's just odd to me. But I don't know. Who am I? I'm not a voter. So
we need
but this was they need us, Mike. Next year we'll MC the entire thing.
As they have my number. They know how to reach us.
They can page me.
I don't know if they will, but we can ask them to.
We can ask them to. But no denying it. This was a really feel good year for SDCC. A lot of cool stuff, a lot of great announcements, and we'll see if Marvel can top it next year, because we finally got to see live action Namor with his manliness, and people are going gaga over it / rioting, because he appears not like he does in the comics. It's the whole thing. But so it goes. But folks, it's a really shitty world out there. It doesn't have to be. In fact, we'd prefer it not. So get out there, be good to each other, because you could get hit by a bus tomorrow, and you want people to say nice things about you. Maybe that's selfish, but seriously, whatever it takes to motivate you to not be an asshole and not let the assholes win, just do it. Get out there, support your local comic store, read something cool, and above all, be good to each other. Till next time, he's Mike, I'm Matt. We're the Comic Watchers, and this is our silly show.